Anyway, Black Knight is running short on time, so Black
Okay,
Knight,
yeah.
let's give the floor back to you. What would you like to go over? I got Secrets of Lothoria up here on the screen. Is that the one you wanted to go through?
I remember because Gino and I, we were talking about, especially this one. It's the fifth in the series, like the middle, straight in the middle, 5 out of 10 books. So it's how should I put it? It's not just the pure space opera that one might expect. You have a lot of
Is it less focused on the sci-fi elements of the story?
I mean, well, it is focused on those, but you also have this science fantasy deep dive into the science fantasy part of the Star Shattered universe, because you have plenty of planets, of worlds which they're not they're not that developed. They may not have rampant like space age technology everywhere.
Kind of like in a Firefly, how some planets have like loads of technology and are very sophisticated, but other places it just looks like a ranch.
Yeah, pretty much. And this is
going more into the mystical end of how the universe works.
Yes, and also it is one of the semi-medieval kind of settings, which you have this planet where the ruling elites, they have some connection with aliens, and I'm desperately trying not to spoil anything, because my readers really love the book. It's they just like certain theories about ancient aliens and the likes. You have these elites there on that planet, and they have certain connections, and they, of course, used the technology and everything to position themselves, grab even more power, etc., etc. So
they're a little more opportunist, a little less, a little more self-centered and self-focused kind of thing. Like
it depends. Like there are a couple of groups of them, and let's say one of the groups, they have developed an entire religion based on their alien overlord, and they use that religion to further subjugate the masses. So yes, we're doing this magic stuff, and they're waving like some device under their robes, and the uneducated peasants are like, "Ooh, magic! It's magic! They're doing this shit. It's like they can heal wounds, they can regrow limbs. Oh my! They truly are divine priests."
They are prophets sent down from the gods to lead us peasants.
So what happens if these guys run into Teal Death?
They'll get wrecked. They ran into the crew of Star Shattered.
I would guess they'd still get wrecked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You mean they
Um,
splattered against the intense heroics of our main party, correct?
well, they couldn't, like, they can't free the entire planet. They just went there. They found the resistance because there are some rebels, and anywhere you can find the rebels, and they kind of helped them a lot. But this book is, I think that was one of my most complex drafts until I wrote the seventh book. Yeah, it was, and it was neatly wrapped up. All the setups, all the payoffs, everything.
Yeah, I know you're short on time, but I do have a question about the overall decology. Writing so many books, and I have a question about the process of that, if you don't mind.
Yep.
How do you avoid like the kind of middle book syndrome, kind of like longer series like Wheel of Time, where it's like, yeah, not all books in the series are the same quality, or some people have favorites, but a lot of those longer series have a few in the middle. They're just kind of meh. And then also escalation. How do you avoid escalating the story too much each book to the point where it's no longer believable?
Ooh, I
By
like that question.
carefully planning everything. I mean, when you get to this book, which is the actual mid book in the series, you will see how I used certain tropes and a specific story structure to avoid this. And it's not. I mean, it's not easy. That's a great question. It's not easy. It does require a long time, and you look at other log series, and you try to improve, and you also, one of the main things that helped me was the reader's feedback. Even back many years ago when I had like the rough drafts, and I asked a number of people to read them. They read them and they said, "Oh, this is boring. This is boring.
Yeah.
Can't you do something about it? Like, can you introduce something different?" And I'm like, "Oh, wait, I have an idea." And it's you will see the one of the probably the best things that I was advised to do was to have this parallel point of view of the opponents, the villains, and it breaks some of the molds and makes things.
It shows things in a different light. You get to see things from the alternate perspective. Kind of like actually in book 2, you get to see some of the more villainous perspectives in that book as well, which I thought.
It's just the beginning. There, it's just the beginning. This is nothing. when you get to let's say when you get to this one, to Secrets of Lothoria, it gets really crazy. And about like the scope of stuff, each quest, each story arc they go to, and different places they visit, they have their own scope, and it's not that the fate of the galaxy rests on their shoulders. No, it's like they have clear limitations, even though they, as a team, they're quite strong. They have
Yeah.
clear limitations, and if they want to achieve something grander, just like when you go to book 3, for example, when they wish to achieve something grander, they will not do the usual, oh yes, our heroic crew with just one ship, we're going to go there and we're going to wipe up everything. No, they will go there with an army.
Yeah, last I checked, they don't have Chuck Norris on that ship. So
Oh no, they don't have Chuck Norris, but they have a hamster, and they have a
They have a hamster. They have a Rambo bunny rabbit. They have a Star Killer and Master Chief. And then
having that hamster is like having their own personal MacGyver.
Oh yes. But
Wrangler, is it raining over at your place?
Yes, it is.
Looks like
I walked outside; it was sprinkling, so I stood under the canopy. And as soon as I got under the canopy, the skies opened up, and now I'm like, "How do I get back to my room?"
Oh no!
no.
So hopefully, I got enough battery till the shower passes. But something you were mentioning, like the mid-book slump there. I look at Marvel movies. It's like they're every time they got another movie, they want to up the stakes. Why do the stakes have to keep getting bigger and bigger every time? I see no problem with like the book I'm working on right now. Yes, it had consequences that would affect the entire world. Guess what? The book after that, they're not going to have, now it's going to affect multiple words. No, the next book, the focus of it is a missing persons case. It doesn't have to go, if you have something with worldwide consequences, the next book doesn't have to be
I miss the
bigger and better.
I miss the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man where he's just...
Yes, exactly.
Being Spider-Man, stopping purse thieves and, just trying to figure out life, not...
Yeah. It was like when Marvel put Daredevil in the Avengers for a while, and I'm like, why would you do that? That's not his level, man. That's not what he's really for.
And
he's like that street level guy.
But it's not that he can't hang, though. I mean, he could go toe to toe with Black Widow and hold his own against her, and she's on the team all the time. So it's not that he ain't capable.
No,
I'm not. That's not his forte either. Or is it for Gino? I know. I think Gino corrected me on that like a month ago. It's like I said forte. And he's like, it's actually pronounced fort, but everyone says forte.
I'm sure there's a movie reason why people say it that way. Like one guy in the movie said it once, and then we all just keep saying it that way.
But I mean, if you stop and think about it now, if you say, "Well, that's not my fort," it sounds odd.
Yeah.
Oh, I see movement in the chat.
Yeah, to go back to your question again.
Yeah.
And then I'm going. Wait, I'm leaving you guys. So, I when I planned all of the books, I made sure to have like various in the story arcs, various different quests and locations, and the stakes are different. You have some setups from book to book, or like from book to the next book, but you will never feel out of place. You will never see something happen which it's like you said is inconsiderate or impossible in the frame of the universe. And
you try not to stretch the believability.
Yeah,
or the
they have
immersion.
You have clearly established from starting from book one. You have clearly established laws of the universe. You know who is who, what their motivations are. You can clearly see who they are and what they're doing, what they want, why Aren't they getting it? Etc. Etc. So it's not it's the main goal was to make to plan the series in such a way that it would be satisfying to read about the growth of the characters and to read about the growth of the villains, because you can't have like, of course in the first book you had like some really stupid soldiers, enemy soldiers, who weren't quite strong enough, etc., etc. But there is like everything is planned. There is a point to this. When you read more, especially when you get to the second book and the third book, you immediately know why certain enemies weren't that brainy, and they weren't quite efficient.
Well, a portion of that is lore related reasons, because of the way, like, the Tazarians are kind of structured as a people, the way that they're kind of a dog eat dog, very shark pit kind of style of a position and rising in power structure. So that played a big part into why, like, their guys are always under equipped. They're trying to just make money. They're more selfishly motivated. They aren't as well coordinated as they could be. Stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and another reason is that the fringe space, where most of the adventures take place, this is the ass of their imperium. This is basically like, if you look at the Roman times, let's say one of the provinces, let's say Judea. You have unruly locals, you have bandits, etc., etc., and you have lots and lots of sand, and that's it.
I don't like sand.
Yeah.
It's rough, coarse, and irritating.
But pretty much,
I really am. Oh, okay, dude. I thought you fell over.
Dude, I wish it would be good for the stream.
Pretty much, I think they sent at one point they began sending their political opponents there, and they quote unquote promoted them, and they sent them there. You're going to rule the like, we're making you a general, we're making you whatever, like, go there. And in the case of the Tazarans, it's they shoot their own officers if they have like incompetent officers who would kill them. With incompetence, they would shoot them. They would kill them. It's just like, what was that show? I don't know. I researched before watching that show. Was it Sharp? Yeah, it was Sharp's Rifles, or something like that. With Sean Bean, one of his best roles. It's about the Napoleonic Wars, and he well, there is like, it's mostly fiction, but it's super heavily based on real history. Things of the lives of the common soldier, and the common soldier, like the worst thing that the common soldier hates them is an incompetent officer.
Historically and modern day, yes, that is very, very true. Yep, I've had, like, even especially when I was younger, I had days where I was leading the crew and I was just kind of off my game, and if the crew lead is not on his shit, things just fall apart. Like, people get hurt, nothing gets done, people are moving, but nothing's happening. It's pretty irritating.
Yeah, but one thing is inexperience and another thing is incompetence.
They tend to go hand in hand, at least a little bit, but yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you have You have young, inexperienced officers who listen to their sergeants, and they learn from them. And then you have officers who think they know everything and they're dumb as shit. But because they have like friends in high places, they get command, they get promotions, etc., etc.